Hello, Mr. Hunter.
Hello, Mr. Wood. I am okay. Yourself?
Are you well? Yeah, I'm very well. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So nice to see so many people joining us already tonight. It's fantastic. Remember, and please share. Hit that share button. Share, share, share. That's the name of the game. Anybody you think needs a wee cheer up? It's a bonny night outside, right? And so maybe some folk will watch it back in the morning and things.
Aye.
But anyway, we'll get as many people on as possible. That's what we want to hear. We're going out live tonight, folks, on 3 Facebook channels. Tartan Tunes, Tunes in the House, and my channel, Peter Wood Music. And we're on Tartan Tunes YouTube and Tartan Tunes Twitter. So you can join in with any of them. Remember and send us all your comments, and we love hearing from you. And we love knowing where you are tonight. Let us know where you are. That's always a big key point. It's our way of interacting with the audience and making sure that we know what's going on. And it's fantastic, because I know where I am, I think. Yeah, I'm in Shetland.
Are you?
Yeah. Oh, there's Big Jamie Star. Hi, Jamie. I've seen Jamie for a wee while. Great piper. Good piper, that lad. Yeah.
No bad bus driver either.
There's a man from Loch Maben down in Dumfriesshire. Excellent. Fantastic. Good stuff. So, what's been on with you? What have you been up to?
I've been working on 2 new books.
Oh.
For a client, yeah. So they got announced last night. Ali Lavac is releasing 2 books of tunes. So they are available. Two at the same time, yeah, 2 volumes. And they are available from alilavac.com to pre-order. And apart from that, not an awful lot.
Hey, I thought I wasn't doing too bad getting 2 in a
2 in a year.
2 in a year, and he's doing 2 in a one. Oh, for goodness sake.
He's just trying to catch up with you, Peter, that's all it is.
Yeah, I've got my third with you, ready to go to the printers.
Yeah.
Whenever, though.
No, it's not ready to go to the printer at all. It's not even started yet.
Right, okay. Oh, well.
It will be, eventually.
There we go. Hello, Lindsay, down in North Yorkshire. There we go. That's brilliant. And
with yourself, Peter,
loads of folk join us. Today, what have we done today? We took the kids to see the Wallabies again, and I can't mind the name of the New Zealand pigs. Great big huge things. And wallabies, emus, possums. Yeah, I'm in Shetland. Yeah, it's a chap up here that's from Tasmania, and he's got them all. He's got them all at his house now.
Did you know that there's a family of wallabies living on an island in Loch Lomond?
Yeah, I had heard that before, and nobody's very sure how they got there. I don't think.
I don't think they kind of dug a tunnel from Australia.
See, I wouldn't have thought they'd like the weather here, but there you go. They can live no bother at all. Hello, Jennifer over in Scalloway. You know, Scalloway used to be the capital of Shetland before Lerwick. There you go.
That's Kieran. Kieran can't spell.
There we go.
Oh, he's back now. There you go. You can spell now. Aye, so yeah.
And Biggert. That's where I went to school. I went to school in Biggert. Listen, we've got two fantastic guests for you tonight, folks.
Yeah, you can spell
this is the show to entertain you with, and it's great because we're always getting different artists on. And for the first half of the show tonight, we've got Kevin Findlay on, the fiddler. Very involved with the Tayside fiddlers, the youngsters and all that, and we're going to be speaking all about that and playing some tracks. And we've got a big first. We've got Rachel Hair coming on playing the harp, which I'm so pleased about because we've not had a harpist or a classic player or what. We'll go into that later for all our overseas viewers. What the difference is. I always thought the difference was the harp was a big one and the classic was a bit weird, but I'm not very sure. We'll find out. We'll find out about that. So Rachel's on later on with us as well. So we're going to have a great all-round show. It's going to be really nice. Some lovely music. And back at Pipe Band today?
Yes, back today.
Yeah.
Nice outdoor, nice socially distanced outdoor practice.
Socially distanced outdoor practice. Yeah. Okay. Right, are you playing a tune first tonight, or am I?
Well, you've got your box out, you might as well go first.
Yeah, I was just wanting to look something up actually very quickly, which I'll do very, very quickly.
I go first.
Right, you're alright. It's just I couldn't mind exactly what it was. But the tune I'm going to play tonight is a tune I wrote for my pal. About, 26 years ago, and I called it Sandy's Shetland Stag Week because he had a kind of stag week for a week in Shetland.
Is that not stand-up?
No, because he was it was Sandy Leggett, and it happened to be over up Hellier time, so we just made it the whole week. So, but Sandy's into this triathlon stuff.
Why?
And I don't know, because we used to be about the same build when we were young, but he's become this Mr. Fit, and I didn't know this, but he posted yesterday saying his Great Britain tri-suit had arrived because he qualified for the European Championships in 2019, but then it was cancelled, and it was cancelled for COVID, etc., etc. But it's hopefully going to be in Austria in June, but he doesn't know. So, but his suit's there, but I was very impressed by that. So I'm going to play the wee two-step I wrote for him. It's called Sandy's Shetland Stag Week. So I know the best of you, Sandy, if you're out there doing all right. Still running about. Good. So here's a wee two-step for you. We tune.
That is cracking. Yeah. I like that tune. I like when it goes down the way.
Maureen Ritchie said she thought it sounded like the Deals Away with the Exciseman, but it's a wee bit different. It's a wee bit different.
All sounds the same to me.
Thanks. Yeah.
Culture.
Brilliant. Fantastic. That's it. Magic. Ladies and gentlemen, just when I see Davie there, Tartan Tunes. Mugs. There's hardly any mugs left at all, folks.
Well,
remember.
Hold on a second. There's hardly any Tartan Tunes mugs. There's still a couple of mugs here.
Couple of mugs, But remember, anything we make off of these is that there's no profit going to Davie or me. Any profit for these will go to charity. We shall pick a very nice charity.
Yep.
Or two, or whatever we're going to do. So if you'd like a mug, get in touch, just message us, and Davie will sort that out for you. Because it's cheaper to post them for Dundee than it is for Shetland. Not really.
I've got one here ready to go, and I've got another one here ready to go. They're going tomorrow.
I got a message for the lady in Australia. She got hers the other day. Vivian got hers in Australia the other day, so she was really chuffed.
Good.
So we've made it to the other side of the world. There's Joyce the Rimple saying she loves her mug.
They're nice mugs. They are nice mugs.
They're good
proof, dishwasher safe. Can't go wrong.
Fantastic. On that thing, we'll do Bob Matheson's wee quick advert just now, will we?
Yep.
Robert Matheson, good friend of the show already, pipe major, ex-pipe major, the Shots and Dykehead world champions, all these people, Paul Kemet, all these bands, played with Simon Fraser. He's got the kilt shop down in Hamilton, and they're doing an amazing deal just now since the bounce back opening up sale. You can buy an ex-hire kilt for, I think it's 85 quid or something.
That's next to
cheap. It's probably cheaper than hiring one, so get in touch with Robert if you're looking for any kilt stuff, because he's doing a wee bit of sales, and here's his wee advert for you. Cool. So there you go. Get in touch with Robert if you fancy a kilt at a good price. He's got about 300 kilts, all different tartans and things, so you can sort you out with different sizes and different tartans. You can get one that fits you. You don't like one that fitted me wouldn't necessarily fit you.
Oh, it fit me twice, maybe.
Yeah. I think if you wore my one and jumped up in there, you would look like a shuttlecock or something.
I can hear Karen laughing 2 doors down.
I think that may happen. Right, anyway.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you I went on a diet and I lost a pound, and one of my pals said to me, that's a bit like the Queen Mary losing a deck chair. That's really not very nice, is it?
No, well...
It's not very nice at all. But never mind.
About how you feel.
Anyway, that's it. What are you giving us? Are you giving us a wee tune before we get Kevin on?
I'm going to give you a quick tune. I'm going to give you a new Strathspey that I've written.
Oh, excellent.
It's called Deirdre Morrison of Bishopton. It's Fred Morrison's wife, who is also his manager, is also one of my clients. Yeah, so it's a tune for her. So. Fantastic.
And it was, I think it was it last week or this week, National Strathspey Day?
This week, Rachel probably confirm, I think it's Wednesday?
Yeah.
Thursday.
Because I love Strathspeys. I liked Strathspeys when I got into all the Cape Breton music. That's what got me even more into Strathspeys, because I just love the way they play them and the step dancey style and really banging on, you know. But there we go. Anyway, go on.
Let's go for this one.
Take it away.
nice short one for you.
My goodness. Yeah, excellent though. Do you ever do commissions for people?
I've never been asked, to be honest with you. I quite happily do commissions.
Oh, I just wondered.
Yeah, quite happily.
Yeah. Well, there you go. There we are. Folks, if you want to commission a wee pipe tune or whatever,
Yeah, give me a shout.
give Davie a shout.
Aye, so, first guest tonight is a good friend of mine. Yeah. However, on watching the videos that he's given us, he's kind of pushing towards the kind of the traditional youth group that he works with.
Okay.
However, what he doesn't realise, and we'll get his reaction after this, is we've got a video of him playing. We're going to play first. So, Karen, take it away.
Singing a number from their debut album. It's called Slave to the Zydeco, all the way from Dundee. Please welcome Boogalooza.
Fantastic. I hope he's still going to come. I hope he's still going to come on.
Yeah, we'll soon find out. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Kevin Findlay.
You never told me you were going to show that.
That was funny. That was so.
Good evening.
How you doing?
You've not changed. You've not changed at all.
No, not at all.
Was that Pebble Mill?
That was Pebble Mill at 1, yeah. God, when was it? 1994 or 95?
94.
It's one of these times.
It was quite good for promoting folk music, wasn't it, Pebble Mill at 1? Because they used to have folk bands on sometimes, and like different genres of bands. Because I mind Homebrew for Shetland been on once as well.
Aye, Homebrew, they were great. A very eclectic show, yes. Unfortunately, we thought, we're on Pebble Mill, we're on the way up when we'd actually peaked. It's good.
Well, you peaked quite high, because I've never made it onto Pebble Mill, so that's a good peak.
Aye. Yeah, that was another unfortunate part of the lockdown. That band Boogalooza, we had our 30th anniversary in 2020, and we had some year lined up. Like everybody else, it just fell through. You know, we had Belladrum, we had a lot of festivals going, and instead we did a few things online. So here you are.
Yeah, I think that's what's happened with so many people. But how did that come about? How did Boogalooza? I mean, I kind of think Dundee and Cajun and Americana.
No, it all comes down to one man, and that's the accordion player, David Udney, who played the accordion, and he fancied something a bit different. And apparently his story is he's listening to Cajun music on the Alexis Corner show on Radio whatever 2 way back, and he formed the band. And their first fiddler player was Stuart Morrison, who went on who had left the Tannahill Weavers, and he only played with them for a year. Then I joined, and I'm the new boy. I've only been with them for 29 years, so. But that was it really. It was one person's idea, and the thing about that kind of music is it's just so danceable. I mean, it's what it's for. It's for dancing, really.
It's total party music, isn't it? I mean, that kind of music at a festival just goes down an absolute storm.
Sure,
I mean, because, and I think it appeals to a younger age group as well, which is something we're going to speak about a bit later on, because you're working with a lot of youth. But it's quite hard to get an audience that's youthful sometimes. It's very easy to get young people into the music sometimes, and there's a lot of youngsters playing, but getting a younger audience seems to be a bit hard. But with, like say, a Cajun one, they would love that at a festival. That they would take to it quite easily. So.
I mean, to be fair, I agree with you. I mean, when we play at festivals, it's sometimes nice to see people going, "Oh, that's good," But on the other hand, when we do play gigs in pubs, the crowds are a bit older, you know. Maybe you should put it another way and say we have carried our fan base over the years.
If you liked us then, you like us now.
Aye.
But you can't. For me, as an accordion player, you know, I folk go on about the audience has been old. I can't remember the audience has not been old. Even 30 years ago, all the audiences were old. So it must just be the way it goes. That's the way. So what have you been doing through lockdown and things? What have you been up to?
Well, it was basically, as we know, everything closed down musically. It was a real shame for Tayside Young Fiddlers, which is the group that I'm the director of. I mean, at the start of the year, I remember this was a fantastic phone call. Back in the early March, I got a phone call, I was at my work, and I said, "Hi, this is Simon Thumeyer. And guess what? We're going to induct you into the Scottish Traditional Music Hall of Fame." So after I got off the floor, he said, "And this year in Dundee, this was last December, the Trad Awards were being held, and Tayside Young Fiddlers were to play at it, along with, I can't even remember, sorry, it was a school in Glasgow that we're going to be playing with." So it was looking really, really good. And how do you top that when everything gets closed down?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
We did what other people did. I made a couple of records with people. Tayside Young Fiddlers, we started as a Zoom group halfway through the year, and to their credit, I'm so impressed with the fact that, you know, you can imagine, you can't hear them, they can't hear you, and yet maybe 25 kids will just show up on a Tuesday night. I'm happy to have done it for them, but if they're showing up, it's because they want to do it. Even though it's not so good, it's great. I just love that, you know, the fact that they show up and do it.
I know it has its drawbacks, but obviously I teach in the schools in Shetland as well, and we've been doing a lot of remote teaching. I was fortunate. I was doing a wee bit of remote teaching about 2 years before this pandemic came along, because I was teaching to the outer islands and things and using remote teaching. So I had a wee bit of experience in it before it came along, and then it arrived with a bang, which was quite something. But yeah, I'm so glad it's been here though. At the same time, if you can, I mean, if we hadn't had it, heavens knows what we'd have done. We'd have had no contact at all, you know. And it's been really difficult. If you had no contact, it would have been really difficult. Yeah. And I've actually found a lot of the pupils have actually come on really quite well. Some of them have adapted to it and really like it. Some don't, but it's a kind of preference thing. But some of them have come on really well. Whether it's because they got more time at home, there was a bit more parent interaction because they could see what you were doing and things rather than just at schools. So it's got its pluses and minuses, isn't it?
Yeah. I did a few lessons last year for Music Cares, Music Care Scotland, which were providing free online tuition for children who've been in a care situation, and that worked fine as a one-to-one. With doing a group though, I'm always been conscious about maybe them getting bored with it, so we brought in people, and I've learnt a lot myself, you know. From we asked Patsy Reid to do a session, and she came along and did an online Zoom hour, which was brilliant. Paul Anderson did one for us, that was very good, and Adam Sutherland did another one as well, and we're just trying to keep them going, keep them thinking, keep their interest going all the time, you know, and so that's been good. And
but I've found a lot of the professional guys that are really into encouraging the youngsters to keep going. They really want to do that. And you've made a CD, did you say, through lockdown as well?
Well, I'm kind of most proud of that. We've got a few of our CDs here. The one before last was Journey, artwork and typesetting by somebody you might know called Davie Peter. That's the one before last. And that was in the past. We've made professional CDs which cost us, and that we're still 2013. We're still paying for this one. Yeah. You know, that we did in the studio. But we did that Journey one in my own studio at home, and then this one, Together Whatever, name given by one of our kids for a lockdown CD. Now, this one turned out remarkably well, considering how we made it was for musicians. The process was, I play the tune, I send the tune to the kids, they play it back on something and record it on their phones and send it to me. I tidy each one up and merge 25 of them together. Not a simple task, but it's not a bad sound considering, you know. Yeah, I mean, so
it's possible.
We got a Christmas CD out for our grannies as well as anything else. So,
brilliant. I mean, I was involved with Tunes in the House to begin with and all that when we set up that platform as well, and it was the same thing. We had up to 40 folk sometimes doing a collaboration set. And it was amazing, actually. It was absolutely amazing the standard you could get, to be honest, what's going on nowadays. And but so are you teaching in schools then, Kevin?
No, I'm not. I'm just a player who does Tasted Young Fiddlers, and I do an odd bit of tuition. But as I said, it was just a little bit I did for Music Cares last year, and I've passed it on to someone else now. But
Tayside Young Fiddlers was a kind of offshoot of the Strathspey Real Society, wasn't it? It was a kind of...
Yeah, I mean, I know it was Bob Edwards who started it up now, as far as I can gather, because I never met Bob. But it was at the time, because then as now, the Strathspey Real Society were finding it kind of hard to get young members. So Tayside Young Fiddlers was started off as a kind of youth feeder group, but to my belief, it never actually worked all that much as a feeder group to a Strathspey Real Society, because Bairns are wanting different sorts of music. Scottish music has moved on a lot in 25 years, and we've tried to reflect that with what we do with them. And so way before my time, they drifted away from the Strathspey Real Society and more into a unit on its own. So by the time I turned up and got Paul Campbell involved, we were probably, I think the best way of putting it is, what do we play at sessions, and let's get that into sets, and let's listen to Davie play and listen to other people playing, and let's just get the stuff that's being played out there and see if we can get that into the repertoire. And
it's the only way. It's the way to learn, and it's. I find the same. It's difficult encouraging them, saying, "Go and listen to other people. Listen to lots of other people. You'll get good bits. You'll get bad bits. Listen to them all." And take what you can from it, you know. So my hat's off to you, absolutely. Yeah.
I mentioned to Peter yesterday when we were talking about it that the Taste of Young Fiddlers is a kind of 3-stage process, isn't it, Kevin? You've got the younger ones up to 16 who kind of learn the stuff with you guys. At 16, 17, they come to the pub with their parents and join us on a Thursday night. And then after 18, they're there most of the night anyway, drinking with us. That's the way it kind of works.
We've had some good people coming through Tasted Young Fiddlers. I mean, again, before my time, Patsy Reid was a Tasted Young Fiddler. Lauren McGee was a Tasted Young Fiddler. There have been 2 or 3 people who are now professional musicians. Kat Harper, Ailey Firth is a good one. Yeah, she was great, Ailey. But I think it's much more important. You know, there's nothing better. You'll know that, guys. There's nothing better than being able to crack a tune out of an instrument. You don't have to be on stage. You don't have to be a superstar to get these kids just so they can play a pile of tunes.
Yeah.
And then get them into a session, or, you know, just
the nice thing about it is, if they're in a big group, you don't have to be the best player in the world to enjoy participating in a group. You know, you
exactly. Yeah.
The pressure's not put you on as this big soloist or anything like that. You know, so it's really good.
Yeah.
So.
Well, my daughter Lara was she was in the Young Fiddlers, and I remember when she was maybe 16 or something, and she ran into the house and said, I said, "What are you doing?" She says, "I'm getting my fiddle, and we're all going away up to wherever it was, and we're all going to have a tune." And I thought, my work here is done.
Yeah, brilliant.
You know, if 16-year-olds are getting it, or even just listening to them jamming together and thinking, they're getting it now. You know, they're loving it. Yeah.
I mean, when we were at school and you wanted to Skype maths to meet up in a back music room somewhere, that's when the music was good. That's when it was good. I think we'll have to have a listen to some. Have we got some tracks we could have a listen to?
Yeah, so the first one is I think you started in 2005, didn't you, Kevin, with the Tasted Young Fiddlers?
This is maybe a year or two later than it.
Yeah, I think it's 2009. No, not 2009. 2014 actually is the first one.
It was 9 years later. It was a concert in Fowlis Village Hall.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm not sure if that's in Angus or Perthshire, to be honest.
We'll not start an argument, didn't admit to nothing. Just say
no.
Right. Just say. So what tunes are we getting here? Can you mind the set?
I know that the last one is Ard Ranters.
Brilliant. Great.
But I think this is all you're getting. It's only about a minute long, this one, eh?
Yeah,
that's all right. We'll work that out.
Was that a Fred Morrison tune? Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Let's go with it. Yeah, brilliant. And it's fantastic, isn't it, to see young folks smiling and enjoying themselves. And that's what the thing's about, you know. Even though some of them it's quite difficult to get them to smile sometimes, but never mind.
To be honest, it's not that easy with a fiddle, you know.
No.
They've got the facial disadvantage.
It should be easy with the accordion, but I'm not very good at it either. Right, but no, it's brilliant. But see, we'll talk about. We've got a couple of more tracks, folks. So don't worry, that was quite a wee short track. But we are going to have. Viola says she was glad that there was a viola included. Was there? She's noticed something I didn't notice.
I'm not sure, we're just looking at that clip there. We have currently got one cellist. In the past, we've always had a couple of cellos and viola players, and for that reason, it keeps me on my toes because I've got to write the parts for them with the music we do. So,
yeah.
But it's brilliant. I mean, anyway, I mean, it's fantastic. I mean, 20 fiddlers and one cello. What a difference that cello makes to the sound, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Just an odd dimension altogether, isn't it? It just takes everything away. But what I was going to say, we're going back. We're going to hear a wee bit of more tunes, and we'll find out after the next one. Maybe we'll talk about where folk could maybe buy these CDs and that. But I wanted to go back to just you as a player, just for a wee minute. I can tell you're incredibly dedicated to promoting youth and bringing them on. But what inspired you to play to begin with? Can I ask where you got the idea to be a fiddle player?
I suppose it's so funny. I did play at the school. I played the fiddle at school, and when I was 16, I went right off it. And I got more into David Bowie than the fiddle, and I played a bit of guitar. Still play guitar now. I don't know. I think probably by the time I was 18 or 19, and I was listening to people like the Tannahill Weavers and Silly Wizard, and thinking, and just the vibrancy of the music. So I played guitar a little bit and sang a few songs, and then quite soon I realised I could better pick up the fiddle rather than. There's more people like me than me who can sing songs and play guitars in pubs, you know. Yeah. And I'm glad I did, because I thought, I'll never be in a rock band. And then, in 1991, there I'm standing on a stadium in the south of France in front of 10,000 people playing Cajun music. So I kind of got a bit of it all there, really. No, I found in my 20s that I'm still to this day, if I'm anything, I'm a player at sessions. There's nothing I like more than going along and sitting in a session and getting the crack and the musical crack from people. And I think that's the whole thing. I lived in Fife during my 20s, and village of Star of Markinch, and we had the Lochie Inns, and we had the music going, and I think that just completely fired me up, really. I never stopped. I
think with sessions, isn't there? I mean, sessions are wonderful, and obviously up in Shetland we have quite a lot of sessions in the pubs and things as well. But it's good when musicians get an understanding of a kind of session protocol as well, because sometimes, but you have to learn these things. But I learned earlier on, accordions are huge, big, powerful instruments that a lot of folks see one coming and they go, "Oh, hold on a minute." So I've adapted my styles over the years, that if I'm sitting in a session, I'm taking it canny and I'm taking it gently, perhaps playing in different voicing so as it's not drowning everybody out and all that kind of stuff. Unfortunately, some folks still didn't get it. They turn up and they blast over the top of everybody. Yeah. But if you get a good session going, it's great. The only session, when we're talking about blasting over the top of everybody, we were having a tune one night, and this guy arrived with a wee case in the lounge, and he opened up his wee case and he pulled out a bombard. And I don't know if you've heard the volume of a bombard, but that was the end of that session. That was it, knackered, And you think, why do people even bring something like that to a session, But it's just the way it goes. So.
To be fair, there's a couple of times I've turned up at the Fish with the wrong set of pipes and had to play Highland pipes all night. That's been fun. That was
fun in the Fish when I was there, aye. But I mean, to David's credit, he comes along, he plays a bellows pipe. That's a bit of protocol. There's other things too. I mean, I rarely play my own stuff at sessions because I want to play things everybody knows.
Yeah. I'm exactly the same. Yeah, I try to find stuff that that's the point of a session, isn't it? We want as many people joining as possible. I've seen other folk, as you say, turning up and deciding I'm going to play my own stuff, and everybody's sitting there looking at them as if to say, well, what's that kind of stuff? It might be very good, but what is it? So, on that, your own stuff, you just mentioned that yourself there. I noticed you got an award for Dundee as a musician.
I I got the Dundee Musicians Award, which was to produce the book and CD. I've had a few tunes kicking around. I wrote a few more, and again, guess who did the typesetting? But I thought I'd bring out a book of my tunes, but bring them out as well on a CD so that you could listen along to them at the same time we play them. Because I found that helpful in the past for myself. Getting to hear something as well as playing the music. So. I brought that out a couple of years ago. It was moderately successful. I've still got a pile of them there. But
brilliant.
I've got the Lockheed Sessions.
So that's the Lockheed Sessions.
Yeah.
Where could folk buy that from?
It's on Amazon, and also you can get it by contacting me on Facebook. I'm very available on Facebook.
Right. If you want to get in touch with Kevin, if you want the Lockheed Sessions, I love the look of that. I've not got that book, so I'm going to acquire one of them. Is that all your own stuff, or is that a mixture of stuff in that one?
It's in high-level music, by the way.
Is it? All right, that's okay. You can say that. No bother at all.
Right, okay, right, this is...
I didn't get high-level music in Shetland, folks, and lyric. You can get it there. There you go.
Yeah, this is 36 of my own compositions with... Right. If you can't read music, there's loads of words and pictures you can look at as well. So
that's cool. That means I can get it this week. I can get it them on. That's fine, brilliant. Oh, fantastic! Right.
So when you get them, they're sold out.
Yeah, they might be gone.
Okay. I was at the festival in 2019, and the one that sold out then.
After we've advertised them tonight, it'll be a different thing altogether. But listen, have we got another wee track we could have a listen to? Because everybody's just enjoying this so much, the music as well. They're thinking it's fantastic watching these guys.
So we're jumping to 2015 now, which is the Gardyne Theatre. Was that the first time you played at the Gardyne, was it?
Now, what we did there was the Caledonian Mackenzie Caledonian Pipe Band were having one of their big events, and they very kindly asked Tated Young Fiddlers to support them. And it was a great event for us because we've got, as we know, kids ranging from 10 up to 17 on a big theatre on a big night, and it was a complete sellout. And it was great for everybody to be involved in that, and it was good for our budget as well because they paid us. But we had a fantastic time. And before we went on, this was recorded, kind of sound check on stage, and it's Shetland Reels, Scary Sleep Soon in the Morning, Villafjord, kind of standard three tunes.
Magic. Tap your feet to this, folk. Fantastic.
Right.
Good
I just
stuff.
seen a
Really
comment
good.
from Maureen Ritchie saying, "Brilliant, but where are they now?" And I spotted Heather in the background. She's in the trad course at Newcastle, isn't she?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Hannah Deneen, another girl at the back, is now a tutor with Tasted Young Fiddlers. My daughter Rachel, who's at the front, is an occasional tutor with the Fiddlers. My son Sean is a singer-songwriter, so he's doing his own thing. And the two wee girls that you saw just as we panned to the right there, they're both our seniors now.
Fantastic.
Jeez,
But they're still
Brilliant.
playing. The thing is, sometimes people like to play music for their own enjoyment as well, and they maybe even just play in the house and play in the bedroom nowadays. Who knows?
Yeah.
But they've had that initial bit of tutoring and work done with them that it's been instilled to begin with, and it's always with you once it's there. So folk could go back to it whenever they want.
I love it.
you know.
Something seems to maybe happen in the early teens where a kid will come along and they'll be scratching away at the fiddle like we all did, and then with a lot of them, you just come along one day and say, these are musicians. How did that happen? And I think one thing to being in a group like Taste of Young Fiddlers does is it's not stuffy. I'm not saying anything bad about anything else, but you come there as a youth club. You don't come there to be harangued and harassed and shoved into place. And the music comes out of the communication, I think. You know, the fact that they all want to help each other along and play with each other.
Yeah.
It's good to see. Really good to see.
I agree with you very much. Sometimes the disciplinary thing is very difficult for youngsters to go to a place that they sit in silence. The audience sits there nearly like criticising anything that moves. It's absolutely the last thing a youngster's needing.
Well,
and in fact, it's the last thing any of us need, to be honest. If anybody doesn't like things, fair enough. But
yeah,
I'm just trying to make the distinction. They go to their lessons and they do their lessons and they do their practice and they do what they have to do, and they come to Tasted Young Fiddlers and they get to play some tunes and get a Coke and some crisps and chat to people. It's a club, you know, and that makes it in a different context. And I think that leads in really well to sessions.
well,
because
that's it. I think when you always mentioned you did Zoom kind of lessons, Zoom courses with kind of well-known folk musicians, Adam Sutherland, Pat Reed, but you did that as well in person when you could over the years. Because I remember doing one of the lessons, and I taught them a simple Finnish polka that I'd learnt myself, and it was being able to kind of explain to them after playing through the tune and then picking it up and then going, and if you change up a string you can now play it in this key. They didn't realise that it's that simple. They could just change keys by going up one string and then do it the exact same way, and just kind of that simple thing has probably saved a lot of them a lot of hassle playing with other instruments.
And see that tune, I'm sorry to say, Davie, you've got 10 years of that being in the set and it's been dropped now. But you're right.
10 years not bad.
that's all right. Yeah.
You come back and teach someone else.
Yeah, I
But
totally
the-
agree with you.
I think the thing is, it's that, and it's an argument of mine that I've always used, that music isn't just music at that age. It is, and Kevin, you know what I'm speaking about as well, that it offers so much more to a youngster
It's an escape.
than just learning an instrument, even though that's the challenge and a great achievement in itself. The social aspect, as you say, everything else, contacts, meeting people, for confidence for children, that's why music is so important, and I really do hope that the President-elected government has said one of their pledges was to make it all free in the schools again, and I hope they do.
That would be good.
I hope they do.
It does mean
more.
It does mean you get a pay cut though, Peter.
Probably, but there we go. I'm used to that. I used to think it was going to, my wages would go up all the time, but they don't seem to do that. I don't know what happened there. That's just. But it's fantastic. So did you tell us you'd managed to you're having a wee practice soon again? You're managing to get them all together under all sorts of.
Aye, so thanks more or less to the work of Sue Jarvis, our other tutor. She's like I said, is there any chance we could do something? So we went and looked at Youth Scotland and we had a look at the current situation, level 3, and we kind of reckoned that we could have something out in a garden. And so in St Luke's Church in Broughty Ferry last Tuesday night, first time for over a year, spaced seats out and Tasty Young Fiddlers met. It's kind of, it was good and bad in a way, you know. With the space in the seats, it was kind of hard to keep everybody in the right beat. But this week, I'm rewriting the risk assessment tomorrow, and we're going indoors on Tuesday night, and that'll be the first.
Well,
To be fair though, Kevin, your day job is a health and safety officer.
I suppose I've written the odd risk assessment in the past.
that's going to help. That's going to help. I remember one of the schools asking me once, "Have you filled in your risk assessments for teaching the accordion?" And I thought, "Oh no, what do you put in here?" You know, there's a lot of dropping it on a fellow pupil, or
so shoulders,
catching oneself in the bellows. I don't know. Who knows? But no, it'd be fantastic. It'll be. I saw a wee article the other day or something online, and it was one of the pipe bands getting the kids all together, and it was with youngsters. And the guy said I had a lump in my throat and nearly a tear in my eye just to hear them all standing there playing again, kind of style thing, after so long.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's been so bad. I mean, I think the thing that any club's going to find is that we have just about managed to keep our core there, but how do you recruit?
No, exactly.
And
That's the hard bit.
we can't play half the stuff because, you know, when you're playing harmonies and that, you need to be together. So I'm looking forward to that again too.
Yeah,
Just being able to get some arrangements going. But, you know, we've done our bit. I think, like the guides, like the scouts, like everybody else, we've come together and we've kept it going.
Yeah.
And your numbers have stayed really good over the years, haven't you? What have you had on average? About 30 right through, nearly?
No, well, when I started with them, they were down to about a dozen, 10, something like that.
Right, okay.
I think, you know, I mean, it's just phases. I think that the phase of Tasty Young Fiddlers, I've got a photograph of them in their early days. You've seen the early days they all wore these kilts, but that's Tasty Young Fiddlers, early 90s in Dundee, and that's Prince Charles with them. So they were kind of big prominent thing back then, but that had gone down. And so when I was asked to join, there wasn't really a lot left to them, and they were a wee bit fed up playing some of the music they were playing, which was from the Strathspey and Reel repertoire of the 50s and 60s. You know, the Jimmy Shan stuff and that. But you know, well, we just built it up really. And it's about 30 now. I'm not sure the exact number, but I mean, on Zoom we're getting 25 people turning up, which I think is overwhelming, really. Because it's like you're saying, Peter, you do it, but it's not great, you know. It's just about doable. I'm just really pleased that the kids all come along.
When you're saying though about the material and that, and encourage the children do want to play different stuff. They don't want to be stuck, unfortunately, in that old. There is some of the old tunes that are fantastic that appeal to them, but I can't help but think myself, the first time I heard something like Andy Rennick's Ferret or something like that, a tune, the excitement you got and the buzz you got for a tune like that, you were like, wow, what is this?
Well,
and then all of a sudden, they used to call it a folk chord or something, on A minor dropping down to the F major or something like that, and you were like, whoa, what's this? You know, what's going on here? You know, brilliant. You know.
Part of our pattern, as we say, we play music from the 18th century up to 2019. You know, and we've got the Wind That Shakes the Barley in our set. We've got High Road to Linton in the set. They're 18th century tunes, right through the whole gamut. But we have quite a wee chunk of Gordon Duncan stuff, and we've got a couple of Adam Sutherlands who gave us a workshop. I think I mentioned that earlier too. We're just doing something by Patsy Reid just now. We've got a Paul Anderson tune who's very much alive and kicking up in the northeast there. So we're bringing in things which are new, but we're certainly not discarding anything just because it's old. We've got a great range over the years, you know.
Yeah. As you mentioned, Kevin, it was 25th anniversary in 2018.
Yeah.
And you did that was at the same time that you got given the Hands Up for Trad Landmark Award.
Yeah, the Tasty Young Fiddlers got the Hands Up for Trad Landmark Award for services to traditional music. 25 years of bringing people on into the industry. That was absolutely joyful. We'd arranged the 25th concert. Got the brochure for it here. Patsy Reid did a set. Mackenzie Caledonian Pipe Band again turned up. Steve Byrne produced it. Sheena Wellington sung some songs, and then Simon Thumar turns up and gives us an award for services to traditional music. That's just cherry on the cake, really.
Well deserved, though.
Well deserved. Fantastic.
So
And it's thanks to people like yourself, though, that keeps this all going, because we need driving forces like people like yourself. Yeah. Otherwise, it doesn't happen. And so all credit to yourself. Have we got another wee set of tunes to go?
Yeah.
Before we do that, you said they've got 4 CDs, Kevin. If people want to contact you through Facebook or
that's great.
We can sell the youngsters. So anybody out there, if you'd like the Tayside
sell the
Fiddlers,
youngsters.
we're not going to actually sell the youngsters, but the youngsters CDs. But if you'd love that, because it really is encouraging to them when they sell their CDs and things like that, and realise that they're actually up there with the big guys, to be honest.
In America, they've got Girl Scout cookies. They go round door to door. In Dundee, you've got Tasty Young Fiddler CDs. They knock on doors. They my CD. Just next house, not my CD. But yeah, the next video is actually from the that 25th anniversary concert with the members of the Mackenzie Caledonian Pipe Band. What were the tunes again, Kevin?
I can't actually remember. I think it was between the Mackenzie came up with them, and I think Paul Campbell came up with them too. I had a wee listen. I'm not very sure.
I think the last tune is £50 cashback.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
But Mackenzie Caledonian, Mackenzie's a grade 2 pipe band in Dundee.
Grade 2 band,
is that right? For all you overseas listeners, there we go. A really, really good pipe band. Dundee has 2 or 3 bands, though, don't you?
We've got Mackenzie and we've got the City Discovery Grade 2 band as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
they're
2
both,
Grade 2
that
bands.
was the old 6-8 BB band, 6-8 Lockheed band, and they kind of kept on climbing up the grades and became City Discovery.
Lockheed, I was playing Davie a tune yesterday, Johnny Murray of Lockheed. It's a cracking reel, that, and I don't know where it came from, and I was asking him about the area and things of it.
Was that by Sandy Brecon, maybe, yeah?
No, I think it's an old trad thing, but I think we're wondering if it's maybe been one of these tunes that's inherited its name because Johnny Murray played it, that kind of thing, rather than it been named after him, style thing. So,
interesting piece of music we've got here too. Hey, what's that one? Kevin Findlay of Lockheed, written by?
Don't know.
Davie Peter.
Can I say it's too pretty?
what birthday was that for, Kevin?
Oh, shut up. a special birthday, which I got no party for, because it was in lockdown.
5-0.
I'm just going to write last year off my age, that I'm going to knock a year off.
You can't do that. That's not how it works.
I think you can. You can just knock a year off whenever you feel like it. It's just, that'll do. I mean, at my age, it doesn't matter anymore. You just think, well, wake up, breathing, and continue to do so. Wonderful.
So we need.
Right, what are we having this wee set of tunes here, and I'll speak to Kevin before he goes. That's brilliant. Go on. Ah, fantastic.
Good,
Fantastic.
Good to hear that
And
again.
as you can see, Kevin, yeah, so many comments coming in here saying how much folk are enjoying it, and it's
Great.
the passion is people like yourself to pass on the music and keep it moving along. But I noticed you've done quite a lot of collaborations as well. Was it New York State Fiddlers? Collaboration with?
Strawberry Hill Fiddlers from upstate New York.
Great
They
name.
came down. We did a wee bit with them. We've done two fantastic, probably 3 years. We've played with the Plockton High School, the School of Traditional Music Excellence.
Yep.
We've done 3 things with them, and they're very good. It was good to play with them. Played with, as we talked about earlier, with the Northumbrian Ranters, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're a good bunch. Good guys.
Notwithstanding the fact that we've all been locked down for the last year. Rachel Findlay there. We would love to hear from different groups to collaborate in one way or another. Every year we go away for a camp in Lagan near Aviemore, and it's among ourselves. But at the same time, I know it takes an awful lot of work to do, but it would be nice to reach out and hear from other groups, other young people who are playing. Maybe
I'm going to get the word up. I'm going to get the word up and Shetland moving. And the other thing is, it's funny when you talked about that the camp. You've been quite encouraging to get the youngsters to go to other things. I noticed you've had them at the Isle of Skye.
Yeah.
Alistair Fraser's one, and I noticed the Tinto Summer School. Some of your guys going to that. That's in Whiston and South Lanarkshire, isn't it? Tinto, the school.
Yeah.
My grandfather was the gamekeeper in Whiston and South Lanarkshire. Honestly, he stayed at the cottage just behind the building that session's in. And we used to have to go there when we were kids with the local pipe band. And have you been to Whiston? Have you been to Tinto yourself?
Oh no, I've not been there myself. No.
No. It's surrounded by trees, and it's the worst place in the world for midges, bar Skye, I think. So when you were a kid and you had to stand there, it was like absolute torture trying to stand and play a set of pipes with midges biting your legs and things, in a kilt.
We just try and promote anything at all that's going on. Again, it's quite a few years ago, but a bunch of our fiddlers, when they got to 16 or 17, scraped their money together and they flew off to it was in California, to go to Alistair Fraser's fiddle camp in California.
Oh, yeah,
and the videos are sent back. We thought, you're looking at the video thinking, that's the Tayside Young Fiddlers group. There's a bunch of them, all standing there playing.
A clique.
Playing in yeah.
Well, that's magic. But I can't believe we're through nearly an hour already. But Kevin, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you.
And thank you, honestly, for your dedication and passion towards bringing youngsters on, because that's what is going to keep our music alive.
Sure.
And the other thing, folks, there's a lot of you saying, "And fantastic, I'd love to listen to that music all day." Well, you can, because you can buy the CDs. So get on to Kevin, get on to ourselves. We'll point you in the right direction if you're struggling to get them, and we'll take it from there. Kevin, thank you so much for giving up time on a Sunday night.
Brilliant, no problem. Thanks, Peter.
Brilliant speaking to you. And Davie, you could maybe slip Kevin my books along sometime the next time.
I've only got the first one.
Oh, you're all right. I'll send them for you. Kevin, I'll get your address after and I'll sort it out. It's
sure.
All right. Don't worry.
Right.
No bother. Thanks very much.
Cheers,
thanks, Kevin.
See you. Bye then.
Cheers.
Bye.
Thank you. Brilliant. Hey, what a nice fellow.
Yes, very much so.
Absolutely dedicated to getting these guys to play. And it's always a thing that we need to do, is encourage youngsters. And if we could get... we want young audiences as well, though, sometimes, because that's encouraging. If you think you're a rock group playing to all the young fans and all that, that really kind of gets them going, doesn't it? So
yes, yeah.
A lot
of the bands that are going now can have that young audience as well. The Treacherous Orchestra and kind of Project Smoke and things like that. They're the ones that are kind of coming out now in the apparently I'm a youngster.
Oh yeah, very good.
You get to my age.
But the thing is, even when I was in my heyday in my boy band Scottish dance bands, unfortunately I had Daniel O'Donnell's audience rather than anyone else. But never mind. Daniel O'Donnell done all right.
It's better than Daniel O'Donnell's audience rather than Donny Osmond's audience. Like now, not Donny back then, Donny now.
Oh, all right, okay. I'll take your word for it.
Ask Karen.
Okay. Right, folks. Quick plug. Tap and Tunes mugs. If you'd like a Tap and Tunes mug, we're getting ready for the next part of the show here, which is going to be absolutely fabulous. So please remember to share the show about. There's a lot of folks sharing this show about tonight, which is fantastic because it helps us. And this is a first. This is a big first coming up for us in the show, and I'm really excited about it. Davie, who have we got coming on now?
We have our first harpist, or clarsach player as in Scotland. It's the one, the only Rachel Hair.
Fantastic. Hi, Rachel.
Hello, good evening, folks. How you doing?
How are you? You all right?
Not bad. Yeah, just been
Great.
in Glasgow, which has been sunny all day, but I've been stuck inside on Zoom all day. But it's been okay. I had a nice view outside the window.
I'm looking forward to speaking to someone else that's also got an instrument that's not very easy to carry about in the world.
Oh, I know. Tell me about it. Although, I mean, it's not too bad. I do a lot of flying with it, and I've got a flight case that it goes in, and it's heavy enough that they can't throw it, because if they threw it, they'd drew their back in. So it's not too bad. Like the weight, it's on the side of that.
Have you been doing quite a lot of teaching still then, online, since we've been in lockdown?
Yeah,
and things?
I mean, I never really did any teaching online. There was a few harp players around the place who kind of did do kind of Skype lessons and things like that, but I was never really into it myself. But then obviously had to get into it very quickly, and it's been all right. I have a handful of pupils that I teach in Scotland that moved online, but I also normally I go to the Isle of Man once a month to teach harp.
Yep.
So this would have been the weekend where I would have been there. So I've had 21 Zoom lessons this weekend, back to that,
Wow.
pretty much. So it's been quite intense, but it's all great. It's just really good to keep in touch with the kids, and they're not bad. I mean, it's 1-to-1, and you make the effort to have a chit chat and things. And
Yeah.
I had dogs and cats interrupting today's lessons, and two of them have got these new crazy kind of octopuses, cuddly toy things they were showing off. That is partly the new craze. So
I think it's a really, Rachel, I think it's a really important thing to build up with youngsters and pupils, so is to build up a kind of relationship with them,
Totally.
that you can have a bit of fun with them, apart from even the music. And I know with some of the wee lads up here and that I'm teaching, and that football's a big thing, you know, and you get a catch on with them and you can talk about football or something. And it's all going very well until you realise some of them want to talk about football more than they want to learn the accordion. And then you have to then you have to draw the line a wee bit and say, right, okay, let's forget about Partick Thistle for a wee while. Let's just but it's great though, and you have to do that, and you have to go with the flow with them.
And it's been I think it's been a real big help for them this year, because, you know, especially when they've not been, you know, at the periods of times when they've not been at school, it's been someone that they can talk to who they can kind of almost kind of moan to, if you know what I mean. It's kind of like that kind of like, you know, kind of good for the head kind of chit chat. So always kind of make an effort to chat to them, and I've got to know a lot of them a lot better as well now, because I've had that.
I think we touched on that earlier when I was speaking to, which both of us were speaking to Kevin earlier on. Music is not just about playing that instrument, it's so much more. And it is this connection, as you say, like if they weren't learning that instrument, they wouldn't have had the chance to speak to you. Yeah. And it's amazing what can come out sometimes. Over my years of teaching, there's some things have come out that you think, and you can go on to help them and make the world a better place for them, and that's so good. That's great when that happens. So it's really good. So live playing has been kind of off for you just now then.
Yeah, so I mean, I've had a kind of few things. I've done a kind of few kind of things from home and a few kind of film things, and I live not too far from the BBC, and because I'm a local musician, I've been in there a couple of times doing some filming for them for kind of the odd kind of show and things like that, and that's been good to play to even just a little audience of like 4 cameramen and a kind of couple of kind of floor managers, but it's nice to have a little bit of an audience. So there's been a couple of things, but missing having real audiences. I think we did a filming session a few weeks ago, and it is a different feeling when you're filming a gig just, you know, to cameras. It's a different kind of, you still get nervous, you still get the butterflies, but it's a different kind of butterflies, and Oh no, I prefer the audience butterflies myself. I prefer those ones.
I know, and I also think when you're playing with the audience butterflies, and we all know we can do this, we can cover little things that are going wrong and all that, and it's so much easier to do when there's a live audience there than there is in front of you. Yep. It becomes awful clinical when it's just the camera in front of you. You can't hide, you can't do anything, and we do need to hide sometimes because none of us are perfect, so we need to.
It's something I've thought about a lot. That it's almost like you're in the studio kind of thing, and because so much of this kind of stuff as well is replayable as well, and that's quite stressful. And
we also know when we let our hair down when we're playing live. Sometimes things happen when you're playing live that you never meant to happen that turn out great.
Yeah.
Not always, in my case, but sometimes. Sometimes they do. Sometimes. But anyway, listen, I think we'll have a wee tune to begin with. Davie's in charge of the tunes here, so let's see what's happening.
We're going to have a tune from yourself and Ron, Redford Cottage.
Fantastic.
Oh, is it the Pipe March?
It is the Pipe March, yep.
It's a great tune, isn't it?
It's a good written by is it William Sinclair, who was a pipe major from Govan, literally just across the river. We just live by the Clyde, so it's like hop, skip and a jump over there.
By the way, I absolutely love that when people know the names of tunes and who wrote them and things. I think it's really important because, and I've said this a couple of times in the show before, you can when you get folks saying, I'm going to play a set of reels, and I can't mind the name of the first tune. Yeah. I think the second one's Irish, and then the other one's such and such. And there's some poor creator out there that actually wrote it that should be getting a little bit of credit if you can, kind of style thing.
It's something I love, kind of digging into tune history and things like that. I've actually been kind of I got stuck in a rut this week because I was looking at a tune called Da Bixter Rant from Shetland, which I'm putting in one of my new books, and I couldn't remember which version I learnt it from. So I was trawling through all the kind of things and eventually found it in an old collection. But I love all that kind of stuff, and pipe tunes especially are great. Love and pipe tunes.
You play with Ron quite a bit, don't you?
So Ron Jarpeet from Finetty in Moray, so up in the northeast, but he lives just 10 minutes along the road here, so a great guitarist, but a fiddle player originally actually, so he's got a good knack for recognising good tunes and gets really into the tunes, gets excited about tunes, which is great to play with someone like that.
Right, let's have Redford Cottage. I'm looking forward to this. Hey! There you go. We'll give you a real round of applause.
Now,
Oh, thank you.
following on from our conversation about the size of a harp, is that a small harp with you or a big harp with you and you're really tall? Which is
I
it?
am not tall. I am so small. Honestly, this is an issue. I'm getting married at some point, hopefully. We're one of those people that's had to postpone. And my 2 bridesmaids are really tall. And so I'm banning them from wearing high heels on my wedding day. No, I play with a stand, actually. I put the harp on the stand. Although the stand right now is actually being turned into a coffee table for lockdown. So it's been my coffee table when teaching.
Is your husband-to-be banned from high heels as well? Or?
Well, he's not that high, so he's not that tall, so it's all right.
That's all right. You've got that sorted out. That's good. But that is an amazing sound. There's so many comments coming in here. Folk just absolutely loving this. This is fantastic.
Very unique, yeah.
Yeah, it's such a. And when Davie touched on it, the harp, big, small, big. That takes me back to my thing I was saying at the beginning of the show. Harp, classic. Much difference?
So it's the same instrument. It's essentially the same idea as the fiddle and the violin, really. Although, I mean, historically, they would have had clarsach would have meant the very small harp with the wire strings. But now we tend to say that it's the harp that I play, the lever harp, which I've got here. And a lot of people will call it the clarsach because they play Scottish Gaelic music on it. I tend to use the word harp because I do play Scottish Gaelic music, but I play other styles, other Scottish tunes and Irish tunes, music from the Isle of Man, etc. So, I tend to use the word harp.
You were brought up in Ullapool.
Yes,
up in the West Coast. What a beautiful place to be brought up. That must have been great.
Fantastic, and great music around there. We had a brilliant music teacher who just kind of instilled kind of good trad music and Gaelic song, and there was a pipe band there. I used to dance for them, and trad music and folk music was just part of what life was up there. So yeah, it was
really good. And the fish food bar at the front there as well. That was really cool.
Yeah, good chippy in Ullapool, I tell you. I do miss it. We struggle to get a good one down here. We're always talking about that.
Good chippy, yeah. That's we used to take directions in the olden days, before mobile phones. Chip shops were very, very important things, and Indian restaurants and Chinese restaurants, because people would phone you in these days and on a landline and say, "Can we book you for the 14th of August?" Yeah. Where is it? Oh, it's in such a hall in Glasgow somewhere. Oh, well, where's that? Oh, well, you go up Buchanan Street and you turn left at the chip shop there, and then you go along and you go right at the Chinese. And it's amazing how we ever got there. How we ever got there, but we did actually get there. Did you study music at uni then?
I did. So I moved to Glasgow in 2001 to do music, and I actually studied at Strathclyde University at the time. They had the BA Applied Music, and Kevin was mentioning Patsy Reid, actually, the fiddle player. She was on my degree, so there was a whole host of us. Myself, Patsy, Anna Massey, Rory Campbell, another great fiddle player. There was a whole kind of host of us who were kind of studying around the same time. So we had all these kind of folk musicians thrown in with all these jazz musicians and rock musicians. It was a great eclectic mix. So
it's actually it's the same. I done the applied music degree as well. But I done it with UHI when it left.
Ah, brilliant! Yes,
Strathclyde. So I was the first year doing it.
Oh, fantastic!
When it went to UHI.
Yep.
So but I done it full time while working full time and having 2 children. So it was quite interesting.
Fair play. Fair play.
Well, I didn't have the children. My wife had the children. But you know what I mean. But it was really interesting. It was Mark Sheridan. I think Mark was involved when you were there.
Yeah, so Mark was was head of department and head of course for a couple of years, but he was I didn't do a dissertation, but I did like a composition folio, and he was head of my composition kind of folio. He gave me a really good mark, so I like Mark. I like Mark.
I got to do a performance for my one. I had to go over to Stornoway actually to the Anlin Tea, and I had to do a recital at the end. So that's what I done for my one. So.
It's a fantastic course, that, and the work that Anna, Wendy, and Simon do. I've been over to US a couple of times teaching on the HND or HNC. I can never remember which one it is. And there was a classic harp student there for a while, and I used to love flying over there and just teaching during the day, and then me and Anna Wendy would sit and open a bottle of red wine, and Simon just used to disappear, and we just sit and drink.
I don't believe that. Anna Wendy was wonderful to work with, absolutely wonderful to work with as well.
Brilliant.
I actually started the master's course and I got halfway through it as well, but
fair play, jeez.
But I've kind of put it on hold there for a wee while. So anyway, so you done the applied music, and then you came out. And you've been playing full time since?
Yeah, just playing and teaching. I mean, I never wanted to be someone, when I was at uni, I never wanted to, work in a restaurant or work in a bar or anything like that. So when I was at uni, I spent a lot of time sending CDs and tapes, first off, I think it might have even possibly been in the late 90s, CDs off to kind of like agencies and things like that to get corporate and wedding work, and I became one of the kind of wedding harpers. I don't really do that a lot now. I do a lot of corporate work, and that meant that I didn't have to get a normal job, and I started doing a bit of teaching and then building up my career as a performer. So I mean, in normal life now, well, before this, my life was kind of split 3 ways: teaching, performing professionally and touring, and then doing a lot of corporate work at the likes of Stirling Castle and things, which I never thought to say, but I really miss that work actually. It was really good because it's a time when you sit and you play through all the tunes you know, and it's good practice.
And do you know another thing about harpists in all time, going back hundreds of years, harpists were important people in society. They were upstanding musicians, storytellers, everything, right through history. So, I mean, accordion players never made it that way, I'm afraid.
Or banjo.
and you get to go to heaven.
Yeah, exactly. There's that. Do you know that cartoon? Welcome to heaven. Here's your harp. Welcome to hell. Here's your accordion.
Exactly.
It's fine. I've brought my own.
Well, years ago at Celtic Connections, just after I graduated, Celtic Connections did a kind of play in that joke, and they had a concert called Harp Heaven, and I was one of the harpists in it, and Accordion Hell. So
I remember that one. Yeah,
it was great fun, and we sold out first, so we won the competition about this. But we dressed, the first half we dressed in white, the harpists, and then we all changed into red to be devils the second half. It was so much fun. It was great.
Fantastic. Listen, you were wanting to give us a wee live tune tonight.
Oh yeah, I'm sitting here having a wee drink, but...
No, that's all right. But it's fantastic that you're going to play live as well, because it's nice when we have the videos, but it's really nice when somebody plays live as well.
Well, it's after 9 o'clock, but I'm going to play a chilled one so that the neighbours don't get too angsty.
But yeah, you shouldn't be too bad. It can't be as bad as Davie's neighbours. Davie plays the big pipes, for goodness sake. Davie has to do a lot of baking. He has to bake scones and give them to neighbours and all that kind of things.
Brownies and stuff like that.
Yeah. What are you giving us, Rachel?
So I'll give you, I think, because I've been playing to the Isle of Man, I'm just going to move this around a little bit.
We'll talk about that in the next bit.
Yeah, I'm going to play you one called Irene Clen, which is the cradle song that was collected by the Lighthouse Keeper in the west of the island. And then a harp hit that's kind of very popular in the harp world, written by a guy from the Isle of Man called Paul Kringle, a beautiful tune called Alden River. So yeah, give us a wee blast for you.
Great. Gee whiz. So nice. So nice.
Thank you.
Really is. The audience out there are absolutely loving this. Absolutely loving this. It's an amazing instrument, isn't it? The range that the instrument has.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that I love playing about it, is that you can, because we get like your accordion a bit as well, like you have the melody and you have the accompaniment, so you can do both, and just the way that it's completely up to me about how I decide how the tune will sound when I'm playing as a soloist. Do you know what I mean? By changing it about, and that's kind of what I was doing, particularly in that last one there, just kind of playing, you know, kind of seeing how where I wanted it to go really.
It's absolutely fantastic. Beautiful stuff. Go on, Davie. Go.
I was going to say, so it's 5 albums now.
Yes. Yeah.
And the latest one with one is Sparks.
Yes. I managed to get it out of the merch cupboard. I was like, oh, that's what I should do. Really, probably pluck. So that's it. The orange one. They're all different colours. So I've got the orange one, the blue one, the purple, the white. The green one was the first one. So not on purpose, but it just works really well, and it's good when you're working out merch.
Fantastic. So on the albums, what kind of stuff have you got on the albums? Is it mostly traditionally sounding stuff, or is it a mixture of stuff?
It's a mixture, kind of some good old kind of traditional stuff. I really like going into the old collections and kind of researching. And with the latest one with Ron, we spent a good while like just getting lots of music and playing through tunes, because he's a fiddle player as well. He can do that, and so we're gonna start to slowly work on a new album over the next year, and we're gonna kind of start to meet weekly, because we're not really up to much, and just spend time playing, just searching through tunes, because there's great fun to be had in that. So that, and then some of my own ones, and then kind of tunes written by friends, and ones that we've kind of found from folk as well.
All the CDs here folk can get straight from your website.
Yep.
I hope, can they?
Indeed.
And your website is here it comes, folks. And don't worry about pens and papers, as I always say. This is all recorded, so you can go back and have a look. But if you're rachelhair.com, that's it, straightforward, that one.
Yep.
That's where to go, and you can get the albums. Can people buy your music books there as well, Rachel? Because I noticed you'd brought out 4 books as well.
Yeah, so I've got 4 books of harp arrangements, so both with trad tunes and my own tunes. So 2 mainly Scottish books, and then 2 books from the Isle of Man. And I'm working on a 3rd one just now, actually, which should be out in around 6 weeks' time, I think is my deadline.
Fantastic.
So, yeah.
Really good. And some of your stuff's used in this, the syllabus for, it's just going up my head.
The Scottish, the RCS Royal Conservatory exams, the trad music exams. Yeah, that's been really nice to hear of kind of the youngsters learning my tunes as part of their kind
and
of,
was Trinity, that's who I was after, Trinity.
Trinity, yes. That was a complete surprise. I was just being nosy one day on their syllabus, and then realised that some of my stuff was on it, which was really nice. So
that's great.
Yeah.
that is really good. And you mentioned there the Manx tune, and possibly some Manx stuff coming out. You're going over to, do you go over to Douglas Academy to teach, do you?
So Douglas Academy, so there's 2 bits. So Douglas Academy that I teach in is actually Douglas Academy in Mulgai, so just up the road from here.
Okay.
But Douglas is the main town on the Isle of Man. It does get confusing, that, I swear. And
I'll confuse it even more. I was born in a place called Douglas that's in South Lanarkshire.
Well, there you go.
It's a little village, and everybody used to think I came from the Isle of Man.
Seriously, that's a bit...
Makes sense.
But we've had a couple of folk on for the Isle of Man already. We've had, brother and sister. We've had the Callisters on.
Yeah,
Tom and Isla was on.
Tom and Isla.
As well.
Tom just lives over there from us, and he plays. He's kind of my fiance's musical partner in crime. They kind of don't ever do gigs without each other. So. Yeah.
Well, Tom was the first time I met Tom was on the course as well. He was in the applied course as well.
That's right. Yeah.
So that's the first time I met him. But he's a great player as well. But the Manx music, until the guys come on, I'd never really paid much attention to Manx music, and all of a sudden, and now you've come on now, and you're speaking about it, and it seems like there's quite a wealth of music over there.
Yeah, it's great. It's a small community over there. It's a big island. You've got around 80,000 people, but within the music community, within that, everybody knows each other. So I normally go over once a month, and I teach for an organisation called Culture Vannin, which is kind of like their arts and heritage organisation. So they will they do Manx language, Manx dance, crafts, and music. So the fact that they've got this organisation promoting a lot of stuff means that they're very good at doing online things, like kind of online videos, and educating people about the music and the culture, which is really good. And so I go over once a month, see all my students, and teach them Manx music. So it's Manx harp that I teach them, and normally become part of the scene, which is good.
Brilliant. And then you go to Holland once a month as well. Yes. I noticed in your bio.
Yeah, so I'm the resident Celtic harp tutor at a big harp shop in the west of Holland, not too far from the German border, about an hour and a half in the train from the airport. So,
what's the name of that place?
It's a place called in Renin. It's the harp shop in Renin. Yeah, it's an amazing place. It's huge. It's loads of harps. I don't have to travel with a harp for that one, because they have all the harps there.
Now, that's the thing that interests me. Harp, obviously, is there famous makers of harps and so on and so on? Is there a sought after harp that people would love to get a hold of?
Yeah, well, it's kind of similar to what I know in the accordion world. You have your kind of ones that are easy to come by, if you know what I mean, the kind of big factories making them.
Yeah.
So who will make a lot, but then you've got your smaller luthiers. So my harp here is made by a company called Starfish, who are based in Ballachulish. So there's there's a few harp makers in Scotland, but they're luthiers who you put their order in with them. So you'll be waiting a while. So it's not just buying it off the shelf as it is. So Starfish are great.
Starfish have been in the go quite a long time now as well, haven't they? They really have.
Yeah.
They've been very, very successful.
Totally.
Is it easy to pick up one harp and then pick up another? I know, like an accordion, you know, they're all slightly different kind of style thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's all right. I prefer play my own harp for performances because it's like I don't know what it's like in the accordion. Well, you must be somewhere in the accordion. Like the keys might be slightly different. Like the spacing is slightly different
size.
And just like the depth of the wood, it means you have to hold your hands differently and the tension. So I mean, when I perform professionally, I tend to bring this everywhere with me.
And it's what
I'll borrow it every now and then.
Touched on it earlier. You have to flight case that thing to take it places.
Yeah, so I've got.
It's
it's a little bit nerve-wracking.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Do I remember seeing a post on Instagram where it did not fall off a trolley?
Oh my goodness! Oh, that was awful. That was the worst ever. So that was actually, it wasn't this harp. It's the one that's across the road. I've got two harps that are identical. One's slightly newer than that, really just in case something happens. And because, to be honest, when I fly, usually the harp is left, like they'll leave it behind because they'll just like, oh, it's big, it can wait or something. So it doesn't always get back to Scotland. So it means I've got a spare one here if need be. But I had the new one in the flight case, and I was on the way back from a tour in Norway, and I was taking a video. We had 3 flights. So I think we were at Copenhagen Airport. No, it must have been Denmark we were in tour with, actually, sorry. We were flying Denmark to Amsterdam, home again. And I was just taking a video of the harp going up, you know, the kind of conveyor belt up to the hole in the plane, the hold, because I always sit in the same seat because I get a good view. And I can't remember it happening, but you can hear me on the video. The harp just gets to the top and then it just goes off like that, and you hear me going and then the guy next to me going, what's the matter, are you okay? And I was like, my harp, my instrument, it just fell down. And he was like, oh no. And then I'm like, oh, it's okay, it's insured, it will be fine, it's insured. And he's like, but that's your livelihood. And I was like, no, don't make it work. But yeah, fair play. It was fine, and that's why we have flight cases. I mean, there was a bash in the flight case, so but because I had it on video, and fair play, KLM paid out for a new case, and they were so good to me in the flight because it hadn't taken off. They made sure it was okay, and
you know, I've had some funnies over the years with things. There was once. You know that when you're waiting in your luggage and it comes round that little thing, my accordion case came round, and I lifted it off and thought that's a little bit light, and then about a minute later the accordion came round.
Oh, that's awful! Someone having a tune backstage.
And I was like, oh, and then when we went to Bangladesh once to play, and when we arrived in Bangladesh, the guitarist took his guitar out his case, and he always just used the standard tuning, but the guitar was tuned to Dagcad when he took it out his case. So
amazing.
So some baggage handler round the back must have had it out and had a wee tune for a wee while, which was quite. There's some strange. And the only other one was when I went to, I can't remember if it was Dubai or Abu Dhabi, and I saw them, the same kind of idea as you were talking about. They were going to throw my accordion out the hold onto the paper, and I kind of ran along the runway, but well, not the runway, but where you've just got off, and to shout at them, be careful or something, and this guard pointed his gun at me and told me not to go any further, so I obeyed. I just went away. But
yeah.
carrying a harp about it must be really hard sometimes, and it's such a fragile instrument. It's just
I mean, it's not so much. It's just awkward. Like, I mean, when I get a new car, which I need to do at some point this year, like, you take the harp with you to make sure it kind of like in the hope that it might fit in the boot. That's my. I'm upgrading this year to like everyone's like, oh, you know, my next car will be really nice and sporty. My next car will be one where this can actually fit in the boot, so it doesn't have to go in the back seats. That's what I'm aiming for this year.
My next car will be a transit van.
Yeah, exactly.
The Caddy Maxi is quite nice. The Volkswagen Caddy Maxi van. That's what I've got.
Oh really? Oh, it's just. Oh yeah. I need to get a new motor. Well, that's the task for this year.
we have a Ford Galaxy, and I got the 4-piece band and our gear in it to go to Orkney last year.
Oh,
2 years ago for the festival.
I have a Ford C-Max, which is the one that's down for that, and I do really like it. So I have actually been looking at the Galaxies. This could become a car show now.
The other nice thing about the Galaxy is it's square in the bottom and quite low, so it's easy to put stuff into it, and it's square up the sides, so you can get much more stuff in rather than that round bit. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
So on that note,
now that we've put the car world right, it's very important to musicians, cars, you know.
Oh, totally. Like, you've got the other half has a little sporty number, which I hate because it's really low, and I'm just so used to like being able to clearly put the harp in, just glide it in, and I like being small. I need to be high up so I can see things.
Well, that's it. When I was playing in the band as well, we used to take the we had a small transit or a big transit. We used to take that, but we had a full back line and a like 6-piece kind of Celtic rock act to get to. Oh yeah, we're going to Skye today for a gig. Great. Load up the van, up the Skye, back, unload the van.
Put it in. It's easy.
Yeah, that's great.
So prior to
go on, Davie.
So prior to the whole lockdown thing, were you not in New Zealand at the time or just before?
Yeah. So we flew out to New Zealand. Like the second last week of January it was, when there started to be news reports about this thing going on, and I can remember landing in Sydney and there being signs that if you'd flown in from China you were to go this way and stuff, and we were like, alright, okay, that's interesting. It's like, oh look, that's what they've been talking about in the news. But then we were in New Zealand, I was there for 5 weeks, and so on the day that Ron left, things had started to kind of go a little bit. So we spent our last day on the way to the airport stopping at every pharmacy to try and find Antibac. If you remember those days when Antibac was selling out for Ron's flight on the way home. So that was the kind of last bit of playing that we really did together was in New Zealand, which is we're so grateful now that we made it. Honestly, it was the best tour ever, and it meant that something great happened last year.
Because you've played a bit all over the world. I noticed it Russia, places like that you've been as well?
That was crazy. Yeah, Russia was amazing. And a lot of work out in America and Japan and stuff. There's a big everywhere I go. There's usually folk wanting to do harp workshops and things. So it's a lot of teaching when I kind of go. I tend to team up the performing with the teaching. So it's good.
I'll be perfectly honest with you. I did not realise it was as big as what you're telling us now. I didn't realise there was this much all over the world. Yeah. And it's quite incredible.
It's a teaching thing as well. It's such a big instrument, it seems to be, for folk to come to later in life. You know, they get the kids off to uni, they get the house back, and they've got more free time and more money maybe because they don't have to be paying for the college subscriptions or whatever. And folk buy a harp or hire a harp, and it's amazing. I mean, these harp festivals that go on all over the world, it's big, it's fantastic, and there's a whole series of them that I'm one of the kind of harpists who'll do a lot of them, and I've got a lot of friends out of that, you know, that I'll bump into at all these festivals, and it's wonderful, you know, getting to
because you were coordinator for the Edinburgh Harp Festival as well, weren't you?
Yeah, so I'm one of the one of the volunteers for that, and I think we were the first major event to get cancelled due to things last year, and we moved very quickly online, but it was in those early days of lockdown when we didn't even know what Zoom was. at that point.
Yeah, I know.
I think we'd literally were on week 2 of Zoom when that festival went online. So kind of coordinated just getting folk to send in videos, and we put them all up, managed to put them online. And then this year, of course, we had a big online festival with, I think we had like nearly 500 folks signed up to Zoom classes.
Right.
Literally from all over the world. So I was sitting here teaching, and you're not saying, "Oh, how's your morning going?" It's like, "How's your afternoon going?" Morning, evening. Where are you in the world? And so it was amazing. Really,
that's
really
the one
good.
thing with this is it does open up the fact that the Edinburgh Heart Festival now is no longer just the Edinburgh Heart Festival. It's a brand, but it's folk are waking up at silly o'clock in the morning to do lessons in Japan, in Australia, in California. It's just that they just kind of work out their day. It's very similar to a pipe band thing called Piping Hot Summer Drummer, and they did the same thing. You had lessons from Canada like 3 in the morning here and then late at night here. But it's just bizarre. But I think that's going to be kind of the norm going forward. I think a lot of people will kind of settle into that as well, and it'll open up those that want to do things but can't travel for whatever reason.
Yeah, and it's going to be a challenge for festivals over, once things kind of go back to being in person, because there's going to be a demand for online, because not everyone will totally feel comfortable about being in big crowded places, and
I totally agree.
Yeah, and it has opened up the world to folk, and you've got that kind of carbon footprint thing as well. Maybe we shouldn't all be travelling all the time, so
that's a good.
Yeah,
I think there's going to be a good combination of both.
Totally.
Going on. And I think that will be the way forward. And I mean, I've even heard some full-time musicians saying they don't want to go back on the road. They're actually quite happy doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
But it's nice
I
to
miss the fly. I do quite like travelling. I miss that, I have to say.
You've obviously never landed at Sombra in a force 10 gale yet then.
Although I have to say the Isle of Man is like, I've had a few scary... like there was once, I remember flying over actually with Tom Collister's girlfriend at New Year on Hogmanay, and we were like holding on to each other in tears, thinking it's when you're in those tiny planes and you feel a gust of wind and you get pushed back, and it's like, I don't miss the props.
My wife Karen is not a particularly good flyer, so but I tend to come off with bruises in my arm where she's grabbed a hold of me and things. But the one thing was coming into one of the times I came into Sombra, it was snowing, and the snow was bouncing off the wings, and the pilot nearly landed. But I wish they wouldn't say this. He came on and he said, "We'll try and land." I said, "What do you mean we'll try and land? Why did you say that? And he says, "If we don't, we'll just head back to Orkney and stop somewhere." And you're like, "Oh, great."
But I mean, at least with the Isle of Man, Liverpool's only over the water. Like, it's a little bit further with Shetland to the next nearest kind of.
But we did end up in Orkney that night, and we had to stay in Orkney because he did try to land and didn't manage. So, but it's kind of strange, but interesting at the same time. But anyway, have we got a wee bit of music? What else have we got coming for you? All these, all the CDs and books, folks, mind you can buy them on Rachel's website. Please go there and buy them. I've got folks speaking about aeroplanes now in the comments. See, when you mention things here and it just goes, we've been accused of being car salesmen now as well. Here we go.
I was told to get into car sales, actually. There you go. Yeah, I was told to get into car sales.
Yeah, I can see you being a car salesman. Yeah. Right, what are we having? What tunes are we having here?
As I mentioned, this is a set of polkas. You filmed this in New Zealand, didn't you? At the beginning of last year.
Yeah, so this was just before we started to go on the pharmacy anti-back hunt. So literally this was on the last day of, like, I was going to drop Ron at the airport, and we're like, we haven't actually filmed anything. We're on the Cormoradal, I don't know if I'm saying that right, coast, beautiful, beautiful beaches. So it's a bit of a noisy track because the waves are noisy, but yeah, this was the kind of the last time we played together, actually, until I think we did some filming outside in July last year. But yeah, beautiful setting.
You managed to get toilet roll though.
Well, we managed to. We got toilet roll fine, but we got him sorted off anti-back in the end. But it was a few beer stops.
Brilliant. A set of polkas. Fantastic. Yeah,
That's
brilliant.
Thank you.
Rachel, fantastic. Check out Ron's shorts and baseball cap and all that there.
He's a cat boy. He does love his cap, although he's got a full beard there. I think he's shaved
Tell you
off his
what.
beard. I think.
If he was in Shetland next to the beach, he wouldn't have been standing with shorts and a baseball cap. Survival suit, maybe. Now that looked fantastic. And that set of polkas is on the new album, on
Yes,
Sparks.
on Sparks it is indeed.
So, folks, please jump on to Rachel's website and purchase her albums. That would be fantastic.
Thank you.
Davie Hunter has just disappeared.
He has. Oh,
I'm still here.
you're so. Oh, we can still hear you.
There you go.
Yay, yay.
What was that? Was that some sort of new magic trick or something like that? Or was that?
Yeah. Now you see me. Now you see me.
No, you don't. And all that, yeah.
No, you still see me. It's fine. No, it's it's a good. The one thing I want to bring up before we go is your Harp at Home workshops you did
Yes.
Is it 3 seasons now you've done?
Yeah, so 3 series. So this was a kind of thing that came out of after the Edinburgh Heart Festival. I kind of moved it all online and or I kind of edited it all online. Oh, was he gone? Oh, hopefully he'll come back.
It's all right. Tell me.
All right, good. So yeah, I edited it all and learned how to use some new software, and decided to put the new skills of learning how to use this software to use. And I'd always wanted to do a YouTube series, but I'd never had the time. And so, yeah, kind of gave it a go and expected it only to be 1 series. But yeah, we all know how that first lockdown went and how it kept on going and going. So I've done 3 now, and I think the next plan is I'll do one-off workshops. Like once I get over to the Isle of Man next, I'll probably do one from there. Just do odd workshops as opposed to... But it's been great, folk tuning in from all over the world, and it's been lovely to have something regular to do as well.
Yeah.
To kind of keep going. Yeah.
Well, we can tell why you've been nominated as tutor quite a few times at the Trad Awards, and it's amazing. I've learnt so much tonight about harping, and it's been fantastic having you on as a guest. And I hope lots of people jump on and buy. I think I can see my wife getting a credit card out to go and buy your CDs already. I can see it happening.
Well, thank you. It's been lovely to chat to you. It was great hearing Kevin speak about his work as well. I was one of my pupils today was kind of saying about how when I eventually get to the Isle of Man, I'm hoping to go over in August for a month, do some isolation before. But they're not locked down at all over there, and so I'll be able to see my students hopefully in August, and just having the idea of having a day of playing. Someone's buying a harp. You're good.
That's my wife. That's my wife that's just put that on. So it's not even just CDs. It's I'm buying a harp now.
I like it.
That's fun. That's handy that Rachel works for a harp shop somewhere. It's turned from buying cars to buying harps now. But brilliant.
Well, thank you for having me.
No, it's been fantastic. Davie, you were going to say something, I think.
I was going to say it'll be good for you to see your students again and all that sort of stuff as well.
Yeah, just to be able to play with him and have the crack. And I liked his idea of Kevin. He was saying that they kind of have it as almost like a session. They're giving Chris and juice or whatever. I'm totally going to have that. It's just an excuse for me to get the sweets in and stuff.
Yeah,
we'll have that in our, yeah, totally.
Do you know, there's nothing breaks... I think Mark Sheridan told me that once. When you're getting everybody together, that's just... There's nothing like a sandwich and a cup of tea or something like that breaks the ice and gets everybody talking and chatting.
Exactly.
A hot pie.
Dundee, that's the Dundee bit coming out of Davie there again.
There's nothing wrong with a hot pie. There's nothing wrong with a hot pie.
Yeah. But, yeah. Anyway, Rachel, listen, thank you very much for coming on tonight. Wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Anything you're ever bringing out of that, please get in touch with myself or Davie and get it onto Tartan Tunes. Onto our pages and all that, and we'll help push whatever we can.
Thank you.
Any projects at all? It's been absolutely lovely speaking to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me. Cheers.
You take care. Thanks, Rachel.
See you later.
That's what a lovely person. And what an amazing musician.
Yep.
Yeah. But you can see how she goes down really, really well with teaching people and things as well.
Yeah,
she's got a fantastic personality.
It's that kind of natural kind of way with people and speaking in general and just kind of doing that sort of stuff. Yeah.
That's my old friend Richard Williams from Fife. I've not seen him for a while. He's going to be bringing a book of tunes out at some point in time as well, so we shall speak to him some night.
Yes.
That'll be good. That's been a fantastic show, Davie. I've really enjoyed it tonight.
It's been a
really nice show again. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Share about. Buy your mugs. Get in touch if you want a mug. I still can't get the hang of this thing.
Holding a mug.
Be in a mug. Right.
You realise, Peter, you realise that it's the same on both sides, yeah?
No, until you pointed that out, I hadn't actually noticed that. Yeah. But thanks for that, Davie. really, really good of you, and I shall.
You're welcome, Peter.
Do you know something else? Somebody else said there, and we were just talking with Rachel about it there, and somebody put on about the online thing and said, I hope online does continue, because I stay so far away from theatres and that I can't get to them, and somebody in the same situation. There's a lot of people that have been housebound, as we've said before, pandemics came along and that we didn't realise they've not been able to get to live performances. No. So that's where it's a really nice crossover to do a bit of online and live.
Yeah, I think a lot of these venues now are kind of thinking that, because the venues, like for example the Toll Booth in Stirling, have been doing gigs. They've been filming the gigs or playing them live, and kind of been buying the tickets that way. I think that might be a thing where they have to kind of balance out folk watching it online and folk actually being in the audience.
Well, we have to do that, and it has to be monetised, unfortunately, a wee bit, because there's a lot of people's livings out there, so that is going to have to happen. But I don't think people will object to that. People that haven't been able to see stuff, getting the chance to see stuff. Yeah. So technology's made it possible. Anyway, listen, thank you so much to Kevin, and thank you so much to Rachel for tonight. Thank you so much yourselves out there. We've had fantastic steady numbers the whole night watching this show. It's been fabulous. And thank you, Mr. Hunter, again,
Mr. Wood,
for arranging our first harp player on the show.
What's my next challenge?
I don't know. I'll think of something. We'll get you some unusual instrument that I want to hear somewhere. What?
No, I'll
just
tell you
after. Something, haven't you?
I'll tell you after.
First didgeridoo player on.
I can do that. I've got one for
but there's not much at tune. There's not much at tuning a didgeridoo though, is there?
He also plays pipes and
at the same time.
Baran. I could ask him.
Yeah, you'd have to do something like that at the same time. Right. Anyway.
Yeah.
I'm waffling. Right, thanks very much, Davie. Thank you, audience. Thanks to the guests. Thank you, Karen, backstage, for holding it together. And I'm away to feed the chinchilla. I'll see.
I'm away
he's jumping about. He's looking hungry over here. He's
I'm going to get a biscuit.
Hobnob, chocolate one?
A hot chocolate brownie hobnob, maybe. Or digestive. Chocolate digestive. Ooh, chocolate digestive.
I'm on a diet, so that's it. Had it.
Haddock, a seafood diet.
No, seafood. No, seafood, we're not going here. Right. Okay, thanks very much, folks. It's been lovely having your company tonight. Take care. I know a lot of the country's opening up tomorrow a bit, but still be careful, folks. Take care out there and stay safe. And we'll see you on Wednesday. That looks better, actually. You look good in that. I like that look. It's good. Right. Take care, folks. We'll see you on Wednesday night at 8:30 to tell you next week's guests. We've got a couple of cracking guests for you next week as well.
We've got there's three of them technically.
All right.
There's a duo.
Well, that's right. Yeah. So we'll tell you that on Wednesday night, and then hopefully we'll see you next Sunday night. Mark it in your diary. Thank you very much, folks. Thanks, guests. Thanks, Davie. Thanks, Karen. Good night. Good night. Good night. See you later.